Good morning and welcome to Join the Dots, a new week. Now, this is being recorded on Monday, and I wait till late on Monday because I want to see the markets open. I want to see what Shanghai does, and I want to see how Europe and then America react to it. And this morning I was pleasantly surprised when I woke up to find silver at 51.50 and gold at 47. Well, or 40,000, sorry, and 75. We know this is coming. We've been talking about it, haven't we, for months? Remember, this service started 3 months ago, okay, at the beginning of July. And I just looked at the numbers today because people always say, well, what have you done? How's it performed? So I thought, okay, I'll have a look. The last 2 days, of course, we've been off-piste, haven't we? We've been talking about macro. And I hope you can now join the dots, okay? Because talking about China, talking about COVID, talking about the silent war, talking about all the other wars that are happening, the infiltration into all the economies, all the governments, all the implications of all of that is what is making the markets move the way they're moving. And if you understand, not fight, not have your political idea and not be able to move, okay, if you understand that as the evidence comes out, such as the spy case in the UK, okay, if you understand things like that, you can see why so much is about to happen, which we can convert into certain assets which will perform over a period when an awful lot of things that no one even believes, even now, are starting to play out. And they are playing out. And it's happening all over the world. And you can get conspiracy theories on the left, you can get conspiracy theories on the right, you can get conspiracy theories down the middle. Not often, because those people can't see a conspiracy if it hit them on the head. But they're not theories anymore, are they? They're not theories. And once you can understand the basic premise that we're not dealing anymore with conspiracy theories, but we're actually dealing with conspiracies, that's when you can start to anticipate what the market will react like. And that's why we're not in a bad position. Because if I look at the numbers this morning, okay, so gold is 40.75, we started at 33.17 in the beginning of July, so we're 22.8% up. Personally, I started at 12.54 in 2020, and I'm very happy. Well, why wouldn't I be? Okay, silver, 51.37 when I looked this morning, it's down a bit now, I think, to 51. But 36.16 when we started. So silver's up 42% in 3 months. 42% in 3 months. As Robert De Niro would say. Annualise that. Okay. Then you get to the minor, the silver minor, Pan American. In the pre-market today, it's at 40.10. It was 28.40 when we started. So it's up 41%. Now this is interesting. Because to me, to see Pan American silver up 41%, whereas the silver price is up 42%, shows me that we're not yet getting the corporate leverage that should come through Pan American silver. Okay, remember the bottom line gets affected 100% because there's no extra expenses in mining just because silver goes up in price or goes down in price. There's no change in the mining costs. In fact, if anything, the fuel costs are a little bit lower now, which is good news for miners, because most of the expense of a miner is in fuel if you think of the mining equipment. Okay, now with the gold, so we know we're 22.8% up in gold, but if we look at Agnico Eagle, the mining stock that I hold in gold, it's up from 118.70 on the 2nd or 3rd of July, it's now 169.90 pre-market. So we're 43% up. So see, that's the sort of corporate leverage I'd expect. The gold price up 22.8, the share price up 43. So I think there's some more to come in Pan American because it's only tracing the silver price at the moment. It's 41 up, silver's 42 up, so it's very similar. All right. And our friend XRP, despite Friday, and I saw one of the comments on today's video from Oh Sod It, I love the name, and he was very clever. He knew, and I've said to you, this is why we buy the journey. We don't trade, we don't go out on margin, we don't go leveraged. Why? Because you're a hostage to fortune. You're a hostage to a very hostile environment with some massive players who you have no chance of competing with nor controlling. So you have to not take them on. And what Osodic did was he took some call options way out of the money, way low. And of course, he bought some at a very cheap price, which is fantastic. That's the way to do it. But again, you don't need to. Just play it simple. Buy the journey. Understand the colossal picture. And again, I've tried to show you that in the last 2 days. A lot of people will think, oh, what's he on about? COVID, this. It's all related. ESG, climate change. The Maldives, by the way, were underwater 20 years ago. Yeah, the North Pole melted. So did the South Pole. The ozone layer disappeared completely, gone. No, all still there. In fact, there's more ice in the south now than there was before. And the ozone layer has totally repaired itself. And luckily, carbon dioxide doesn't transfer out of China, where they produce 35% of the world's output. 35%. See that in the paper? Anyone ever said it? No. You have to understand that all these issues are related. And if you don't agree with the way I put them together, doesn't matter. They're still related. There is still a colossal amount of lies, cheating, corporate fascism. I've said it to you so many times, haven't I? ESG is corporate fascism. There is no climate issue. The world throughout history has had cycles, and we're just in one. But it was very convenient for everyone to label it man-made and then make a fortune out of selling products into a man-made catastrophe. Garbage. You're being played. Everyone is being played. Now, as this play proceeds, and some of us, and more of us, can see what the actual truth is below the surface, we realise that a lot of these plays, especially ESG, but COVID as well, look at the vaccine, look at the masking, look at, oh goodness me, don't get me started. How many trillions were made by people being in the right place at the right time? Bill Gates, yeah, Richie Shah, what's his name? Richie Sunak, the English Prime Minister, whose wife had colossal fortune invested in Moderna through Thaleen Partners. Oh, wasn't that handy? Yes, the public are being played at every twist and turn. ESG is a myth. If you go into the real science, not the narrative, it's a myth. No more people died during COVID than would normally die of flu. Explain that. Just explain it, or just think about it. Just think about it, okay? They're not conspiracy theories. There were conspiracies. And the public are always the last to understand the truth and the first to pay the price. Every single time. So today, I was concentrate on gold and silver, I get carried away. Okay, so you've seen the numbers. Okay, gold's up 22.8, Agnico's up 43, silver's up 42, Pan American's up 41, and XRP, even XRP from the day I started, is now up 20.1% because it's rallying fast. Well, of course it is. They've shaken all the weak holders out, and in come the big boys, and they pick it all up, and they take it back to where it was before it started. And what's happened? Well, you've had a transfer of wealth, haven't you? From the poor to the rich. ESG, poor to rich. COVID, poor to rich. Ah, there's a pattern developing. Okay, so I've seen an excellent piece out today, and I'm going to link it. It's by a guy called, and I'll get his name wrong, Matien Khalid. He might pronounce it Martin, I don't know, but it's M-A-T-E-I-N, Khalid, K-H-A-L-I-D. And it's a piece that comes close to my heart because it talks about the Dubai property market. And if I can fire up my phone here, let's just read a piece out to you because it's very, very important. Okay, what does he say? Once again, people in the Gulf will learn the hard way that it is as dangerous to run with the bulls in Pamplona or Wall Street, or bet with borrowed money on projects that will never get built by developers who are paying 8.5% for dollar financing on the eve of the biggest capital markets neutron bomb explosion since the autumn of Lehman, Citi, AIG, UBS, Merrill, Bear Stearns, Northern Rock, etc., countrywide, etc., etc., etc. In other words, we're just about on the verge of 2008 on mega steroids. Okay, because 2008 was about subprime housing in the US. We've now got subprime housing in the US, funnily enough, subprime autos in the US. We've got commercial real estate in the US. We've got a 5-year crash in Chinese property, the largest single asset market on the planet. Well, it was. Goldman Sachs estimated it at 62 trillion, the largest single asset property market on this planet. It's not anymore. Okay? And nor will any of these things be the largest anymore. Many of them will be the smallest. Because what's happening is a credit disaster or debt detonation that the world has never seen before. And I'm bringing this to you now because we're 3 months into this service, and I've given you all the macro, I've given you all the players, okay? You may not be able to join those dots yet, that's fine, you don't have to. But start to at least recognise those dots, because they're there and they're like stars shining. And some people just refuse, what did I call it yesterday? Willful blindness. People have willful blindness. A lot of it is because of political beliefs. They cannot see what their political guru has told them. And yet every single political message is basically, for want of a better word, a lie, isn't it? There's no truth there. There's no truth. So everyone is lying. If you accept that, if you accept everyone is lying, okay, then you can start to build a reasonable picture of what is actually happening, what is truly happening in this world. Because we have seen things, and the people that I listen to are just, they're so clever. Like the market sniper, Francis Hunt, like Alistair McLeod, like Greg Manorino, this guy here, Mathieu Khaled I've seen before, but it's just a very poignant piece for me because it talks about Dubai. And I know what Dubai is like. I was talking to people in Dubai earlier this morning. I know what Dubai is like. It's going to be okay for the very, 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 very richest people, the top 0.2% who've moved to Dubai in the last 2 years. Why? Because they know what's coming. They're bright people. They know that tax scavenging all around the West now is going to be prevalent. Governments are going to go after anyone who's got anything that they can see, so property particularly. And that is going to smash an already troubled property market, because the governments are going to, you can see property, you can't hide it, so you can tax it. It's so easy, isn't it? Tax has to be certain. Adam Smith, okay? You can go back to the 17th century to find stuff, all relevant to today. It's just fascinating. Now, I'm going to link also an interview with Judy Shelton on ITM trading. I think it's on, no, it might not be actually, it might be Michelle McCory, but it doesn't matter. The interesting person is Judy Shelton, and she believes that the America will launch a gold-backed treasury on its 250th anniversary next July 4th, which will be Trump's absolute mega moment of his presidency, he thinks, at this point, because it's going to be the 250th anniversary of the United States. And he's going to want to launch some things into that, isn't he? And Judy Shelton thinks it's going to be a gold-backed US Treasuries. She's an interesting person to listen to. And the Fed itself, she has lots of words to say about the Fed, which is in total chaos. As we said earlier in a presentation, 55 months since they hit their target. Who else would have a job 55 months after missing a target every month for 55 months? Who would have a job? Fed chairman. In fact, The press and the American public are really very angry that Trump should threaten to take his job away. He's failed his target 55 months consistently. The world, Exodus pyramid, it's tipping upside down. We need to be conscious, we need to be aware, and we need to be in the right places. Okay? Thank you very much. I do apologise for running to 15 minutes. I'm being told off, but you need to hear the truth. You're not getting it elsewhere. Thank you very much.